Hey, what's up, builders? Back in the garage. Sorry I haven't put a video on in a little bit, and I did just the 3.5 minute video the other day, just so y'all saw that I was doing something. I hadn't been feeling good. I was a lot of sinus stuff. I was losing my voice, and just didn't really feel like using what I had left of it to talk on the camera. So now that we're back to it, I'll kind of show you where I'm at on the truck. We got the fenders off, the grill shell off, pretty much got it down to mostly just this core support. We need to get this other fender well out. I want to get all this stuff off the firewall because I'm going to do something different with that. I'm not going to use that factory heat shielding because it's coming apart. I probably need to get a better shop vacuum because I want to clean all of that out of the rail up there. But mostly I just want to get this front the rest of the way stripped down today. That way we can start getting ready to set the Cummins engine in. I'm thinking with the frame rails only, it'll be way easier to get it in, and then also way easier to do all the rest of the conversion stuff that we're going to have to do, running fuel lines, running transmission cooler lines, just kind of everything. I just want to get stripped down to exactly what I need so it's easy to work around and try to figure everything out. I think we're going to go ahead and use the Dodge transmission just temporarily. I am going to switch to this Allison, but just for the sake of money, I think we're going to go ahead and use the Dodge temporarily. Yeah, and like I was saying, I had to turn the camera off for a second. We're going to go in, we're going to take all the matting off the back. I'm going to pull these factory clamshells out for the original diesel engine. I already got one off of there, but I'm going to take the other one out. The Cummins conversion I got from Auto World came with these, which you basically just set on there and it tells you where to mark the hole for the new isolators. So we're going to get the new isolators in there. That way we can go ahead and start working on maybe even tomorrow possibly dropping the Cummins in here and getting it set up. Before I cut the video, I was talking about using the Dodge transmission. I think we're just going to run it for now, get a drive shaft made for it, and use it to move the truck around under its own power until I can buy the stuff to do the Allison conversion. But I want to try to hold off on that a little bit. I'll use up what life is left on the 46 RE over there, and then we'll move on to the Allison. But for now, I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna set the camera up and just start videoing some of the stuff, taking it apart, and hopefully we can get this core support out, this other fender well out, get all these different coolers taken apart, pull this condenser. I have a new condenser for it. Also, what we have to do is we're gonna come over here to the Cummins. You can see I got all this bracketing finally set up on here. I still need to change this bolt. Someone pointed out this bolt is still definitely not the right one. No, I just bought that one so I could kind of get it on there, but I finally got the right size belt on here. We got a new fan clutch. That's the dual belt drive pulley assembly where it allows you to have two belts instead of just the one. Finally got the correct tensioner here that I can run the ribbed pulley on that came with the conversion setup. The only thing I need to do is, if you look right here on this mount, when you turn it up, it hits on that screw, and I know that's kind of a simple fix, but I think we're just going to shave a little bit out of here. We'll start small and kind of go bigger, try to get that mount set. And once that mount is set up, we can go ahead and I got this all apart, of course. We can go ahead and just drop the engine in here. We'll figure out our fuel lines. I still need to order the AirDog 150 for this. And then I'm also probably going to use a kind of an under the tank, just a siphon to run the fuel out of the bottom of the tank. So I do need to cut a hole in the tank, get all the fuel out of there, cut a hole in the bottom, put that on there. That way it can pump the fuel to the AirDog and then up to the engine. Still learning about all that, so I'm definitely not an expert on the AirDogs and the diesel pump stuff, but it all looks pretty simple and pretty straightforward, and it seems like the way to go. So I'm gonna set the camera up and just kind of get to work.
So back to it, day number 2. Kind of finished off yesterday. Didn't get as much done as I wanted to since I only worked on it like an hour and a half. Managed to get both wheel tubs out. Managed to get the mount cut and actually got the engine mount completely on there. We'll walk over here and I'll show you that real quick. But went ahead and just took a small notch out of the top. I'm going to clean up the cut later before I take all this to powder coating, but this is on, and that needed to happen. Over here on the truck, went ahead and got kind of the holes started to be drilled for the new mounts to go in. Pretty much 2 bolts away from getting this core support off. I got the coolers out of the front, which made a huge mess. Condenser is already completely undone. I just need to get it to where I can pull the lines through, which I think I'm going to have to unhook them from back there. But yeah, I'm getting really close to having it where we can go ahead and take this thing apart. Just need to get the bolts out. Got all the stuff off the firewall, the matting for the heat stuff, other than the little piece I need to pull the accumulator bracket off, which isn't a big deal. I think we're going to end up using gold thermal tape on this whole firewall. But we'll see. We'll see how I decide to paint it and what colors the engine's is going to be, and before we start laying bright gold thermal tape all over it. I do need to go in, smash the lower part of the transmission tunnel in a little bit for the Cummins. Apparently you got to kind of work that a little bit before you can go ahead and set it in there, and I need to cut the exhaust pipe out. So today we're going to work on just trying to get this core support completely out of the truck. That way I can roll it back and we can get the Cummins and the transmission put back together and on the stand and see if maybe we can work it in here. I'm kind of in the middle of trying to see if I can get some people over, because once I push this thing out of my garage, I cannot push it back in on my own. I probably should have thought of that ahead of time, but I never know when I'm actually going to get to work on this thing. So that's kind of where we're at. Got a couple more cables I need to undo, so I'm just going to try to get this completely to the point that we can go ahead and get the Cummins set in there. So I'm going to get the camera set up and we'll get back into it. All right, guys, end of the night. I totally forgot to film an outro earlier, so that's why I'm probably wearing different clothes. Probably wear different clothes through all 3 sections of this video because this all started yesterday. If you can see, we have the Cummins setting in the truck. It is not on the mounts yet. We ran into a little bit of issue where I'm still hitting the firewall back there. So I have not got it all the way in on the mounts. Right now it's just kind of resting on the oil pan on the cross member. The mounts are real close though. I mean, the whole thing is super close to right where it actually needs to be to actually get it where, you know, I need it. I do need to talk to the company that makes this engine bracket setup, ask them which direction I'm supposed to turn the isolator mounts to you know, set it the correct way. 'Cause it's supposed to set in here with enough room that the fan can clear the radiator, and I can use this factory, you know, fan setup without having to do electric fans. So that's the goal, is to use the manual fans. I completely forgot to take the exhaust off. So probably what's going to happen is I'm going to have to pull this whole thing back out again, which is a lot of work. But I think next time I'll set up a day and have people come over that can help me get it out, work the firewall more the way it needs to be kind of smashed in. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like, if you look at these instructions that they give you to do this thing, you have to smash the firewall way in to clear this thing. So really what it is I need a bigger hammer. I pretty much just ran out of hammer as far as beating the firewall goes. Plus I want to be careful about not smashing it so much that I break the dashboard into pieces from all the shock. So I do want to pull the carpet back, just kind of see what's behind it and everything before I keep smashing it with a hammer, especially before I do a bigger hammer. I want to thank all the people that came and helped me today, which you'll probably see in certain parts of the video. My friend Chris, he came over and helped me kind of wiggle the engine in there, and then later on, Brent from Holland Exotics came over with his brother-in-law, and they all helped me push the truck back in the garage because I was not pushing this thing in the garage on my own. And I need to come up with a plan to where I can move this thing in and out of the garage on my own without having to have other people help me. I do have a little tiny 1/4 trailer hitch on my Hyundai that I daily drive, and this thing's got a hitch on it under the bumper, which you can't see there. And what I'm thinking is I'll take a piece of steel, just some box tube, and put a trailer end on it, and then also put one that fits onto a 1/4, like a small ball. That way I'm pretty sure my car in reverse could at least like use that as like a kind of like a just a mount between it and the truck, and just to push this truck back into the garage. I just, you know, I really appreciate the people that come over, but I don't have to want to rely on calling people over to help me push this thing in and out of the garage all the time. So I need to come up with a plan on how I can do that until it can push itself in and out of the garage. But we got a lot done today. Pretty much got the entire front end off, got this thing at least set into place and kind of getting an idea of what all needs to move. I'm going to mark that firewall a little bit back there, just so I know what needs to still be moved out of the way. I'm going to take off the exhaust, but we're going to do that on a different day. I was thinking about it, and I was talking to my wife. I don't think I'm going to take this thing to Lone Star Throwdown. I think I'm going to go out there and just enjoy myself. I think the truck's going to stay home probably. I was going to pay Holland Exotics to go ahead and just tow it out there, and that way it would be out there. But at the pace that everything's going, and I know how much work I have leading up to it, I don't want to rush anything. I think my best bet is just going to be leave the truck at home, work on the stuff that I need to work on. Don't bolt the front end back on the truck just so I can take it to a car show, because this engine's still going to have to come out 2 more times. One more time to finish the firewall, and then one more time so I can clean everything, paint everything. But that's going to be once we've hooked up all the hoses and everything has been mounted in here. We know exactly where everything goes. That way when it's all painted and pretty and the firewall's painted, I can just bring it in, set it in place, and I'm not having to cut anything that's already been painted. I don't want to mess up anything that I've already worked hard to make pretty. So that's probably going to be the case with Lone Star Throwdown. Kind of a shame because I don't think I can even transfer my registration now, but it does give me the passes as far as getting in, and I think that's just going to be the best bet. I don't want to rush stuff and do it wrong just so I can take a truck that doesn't run out to the show. Yeah, got a ton of work done. Super happy about it. I really appreciate everybody who came and helped me today. I hope y'all guys enjoy the video. I actually probably worked harder on this video than any other video as far as the editing goes, as far as how much work got done in one video. I am trying to step up my game a little bit. I still need to buy another camera and some more equipment. And really I need to learn how to use a different editor. I've been using the GoPro Studios. I have Adobe. I need to learn how to use that editor, but it takes a lot of time to learn that editor, and I just don't have a lot of time. Like when I'm editing these videos, I'm doing it late at night when I'm supposed to be in bed. I have work the next morning, and I'm just trying to knock them out so I can put them out there without spending 5-6 hours editing. So I do need to somehow learn how to use Adobe and get proficient at it to where I can maybe do an hour or 2 hours of editing, kind of like I am on the GoPro Studios deal. But I hope y'all guys enjoy it. I really appreciate y'all guys watching. I appreciate everybody that's helped me along the way. I'm really looking forward to it, and just seeing it at this point right now, I am so excited at how close it's getting. It's starting to kind of like, you're finally starting to see it happen and get the the idea of what it's actually going to be like when it's done. And I cannot wait until I actually get to drive this thing with my family in it, with everything working, with the air conditioner. I'm really looking forward to it. So thank y'all guys for watching. Y'all guys have a good night.